Hey everyone! Today for my honors biology assignment, I am going to be using the scientific method to test whether this age-old myth is really true. Does salt actually make water boil faster? Let's find out! So this is my hypothesis.
If I add sodium to water, then it will boil faster because it takes more energy to boil water with sodium in it.
Today I will be testing 3 different types of salt.
Rock salt, table salt, and sea salt.
The measurements will be 1 tablespoon of salt to every 6 cups of water. Alright, let's get into this experiment. Safety first. So now I'm going to put my stove on the highest heat setting. And then I'm going to start the timer right as I place it on the stove. So now we are going to time it and see how long it takes to get to a rolling boil. Okay, so right now it is 3 minutes and 11 seconds, and as you can see, the water is starting to boil, but we're gonna wait until it's at a rolling boil. It took about 4 minutes and 40 seconds to get it to this point, the rolling boil. So now I'm going to take the water off the stove. And this was my control group. It was just plain water, and without any salt, it took 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So now let's see if salt will make it go faster. I will be measuring out my salt. So right now, as an example, I'm just showing you the table salt, and obviously you would not use a full tablespoon of salt when you're cooking in real life, but for scientific purposes, we are going to be using 1 tablespoon, and I'm just gonna measure them all out. So now that I have all of the salts measured out, you can see a difference between each salt. This one is more fine, which is the table salt. The sea salt is more fluffy, and the rock salt is more coarse and bigger. Now I'm going to add the table salt to my 6 cups of water, and I'm going to stir it 3 times exactly. 1, 2, 3. So now I'm going to put the stove on high heat like last time. Get my stopwatch ready, and I'm going to place it on the stove and start the timer. Well, folks, as you can see, it's already past the time without the salt, so let's see how long it's taking. So, there's our rolling boil, and as you can see, it took 5 minutes and 17 seconds to get to this boiling point. So, it took longer than the control, which was just plain water. Sea salt, same thing as last. Put the stove on high heat. And now we're gonna get my stopwatch ready, and we're gonna put it on. We are already over the control time, which was 4 minutes and 40 seconds. So obviously sea salt takes longer to boil as well, but we're still going to, for the sake of science, wait until it gets to a rolling boil to see exactly what time that it starts to do so. Okay, so sea salt has just surpassed what the table salt did, which was 5:17, so we'll see how long it takes now. Okay. So I'd say that was our rolling boil, and it's 5:44, so it took almost, well, actually more than a whole minute from what our control was, which was the plain water. Last but not least, we have the rock salt. So we're gonna add it, and even though it's big and it probably won't dissolve or anything, I'm gonna stir it 3 times. So now I'm going to put my stove on high heat like last time, and we're gonna start my timer. Okay, so as you can see, it is starting to simmer, and it is at 4:37 right now. Well, it's about to be at 4:40, which is what the control was at. So it is taking longer than the control, but we're gonna wait and... Okay, so we got to our rolling boil, and it was 5 minutes and 29 seconds. So it's taken the longest time for the rock salt to get up to its rolling boil point. So now that we are back from our experiment, I'm going to show you the quantitative and qualitative data that I picked up from this experiment. So to start, the plain water control was less than all of the different salts, because as you can see, the plain water was 4 minutes and 40 seconds, the table salt was 5 minutes and 17 seconds, the sea salt was 5 minutes and 44 seconds, and the rock salt was 5 minutes and 29 seconds. So, as you can see, you don't have to add salt to your water to make it boil faster. The qualitative data that I picked up was that the table salt takes about 1 minute to start boiling up, so it's a bit faster. And the sea salt takes around 3 minutes to start boiling up, and the rock salt takes about 2 minutes to start, having bubbles. So, of course, every experiment is not done without a second round of data. So we had to boil all of the waters again with all of the salts. And we found that still the plain water was the least amount of time at 5 minutes and 14 seconds. This table salt was 5 minutes and 23 seconds. The sea salt was a whopping 6 minutes and 7 seconds. And the rock salt was 5 minutes and 29 seconds. So the myth and my hypothesis busted.